All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Marcel, it feels good to say that again. Good evening, I should say. It's actually 6 p.m. It's Monday, August 15th. This is the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. So just off the top, we're going to do this at 5 p.m. I got the new artwork ready and everything, Marcel. Just today, I had a doctor's appointment, so I had to do it a little bit later. So I appreciate you shifting it back, Marcel. Thanks. How's it going, man? How's everything?
Everything is good, man. It's freaking hot over here. So,
dude, same here. It's really hot outside right now. Like, I gotta jump in the pool. We got a little pool in the backyard, so I gotta jump in that.
That's awesome. And I was like, dude, I was going to sleep. Like, I think last day was like 5. Then after like 5 a.m., I went to sleep yesterday, and I woke up at like 8:30 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I went downstairs and sleep on the chair because downstairs is a little bit more colder than over here where I have my bed.
Right on.
So yeah, it's just very hot, and the humidity is awful over here. So that's the main thing that sucks. But overall, listen, man, we would complain if we had like the whole year of rain. You know what I mean? So it's not bad to have some hot days, but it's always a little bit too much over here when it's hot, in my opinion. But hey, that's me. Maybe people will disagree, but whatever.
Right on. No, it's hot here too. Trust me, it is. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. JPH, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while in the live chat because obviously we changed the time, but we're back to the evenings. So it's going to be 5 to 7 on Mondays going forward, 2 podcasts. We'll see how that goes, but it works for me. I got some stuff going on the weekends now, and so does Marcel. So we're going to start doing that. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, Marcel recapping UFC San Diego. We're going to recap Bellator. We're going to recap the PFL card. Dana White's Contender series as well. Got to mention that as well. So a lot to talk about. So we'll do this podcast for about an hour, and then we'll do the preview podcast for UFC 277, or 278, I should say, right afterwards. Usman Edwards 2, looking forward to that. All right, I say we start with the UFC San Diego card, Marcel. Although, did you want to talk about the news that happened today? Did you want to talk about that breaking news quickly?
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Okay, let's go with that first. So Marcel is a good friend of Shane Burgos, and he just signed with PFL today. So he wanted to talk about it quickly. I'll just give my quick thoughts. I think it's a great signing for him. I think it's great for PFL. I've been saying this for a while, man. Like, if you're a mid-tier fighter, you're not a champion. You're not probably going to be a champion. No offense to Shane. He's probably not going to be a champ. PFL is the best option for you probably right now because, Marcel, you get $1 million for winning tournament, right? But you also make good money for the fights. Like, Pettis was making like $700,000 a fight, I think. So I'm assuming Shane's going to make really good bank. Obviously more than the UFC. Like, I think he even said that today. He's going to make a lot more. So I think it's a great signing for him and for PFL. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. He told me like UFC can't match what PFL offered me, and couldn't resist the offer. He's like, my daughter's futures are set, with this deal, So I couldn't refuse it. He's like, I always had a dream to fight in the UFC. I've been in the UFC, but now it's time for something else. And you can't blame him. I mean, if you look at the roster at PFL, I think featherweight is a fun roster over there, but he definitely has a good chance to win that million. I think he can do very well against those guys. So yeah, I think it's a good how do you say that? It's a good deal to him. And also he told me years ago that he loves to commentate. That's something he really loves. He's a real MMA head. He knows the history of the sport and everything. And he also has in his contract that he has some how do you say that? That he has some he can do commentary for some events over there. So that's cool for him as well. And if it's a good deal, why should you not do it? And I think also respect to the UFC as well, because they allowed him to talk to other organizations with actually in the time limit where it's not yet where they should be talking to other organizations, and they allowed him to do. And he also told me like they were very, very happy for him and very supportive. So I mean, yeah, what can you say?
It's just a good signing. We'll get some comments here. Glenn, what's up, man? Burgos is guaranteed your team. I'm surprised UFC didn't match. I mean, they couldn't match it though, because the thing is, like, first off, the $1 million, obviously, UFC's not going to pay him that if he won. But even per fight, he's going to make more than what he probably would have made win and show in the UFC, Marcel. So, I mean, they could have matched it. They could have, but they have the UFC is very like they have the way they gave out contracts for guys that are not champions, and if you're not a champ, guys, you're better off in PFL, right, Marcel? I honestly think so.
I mean, Dominick Cruz is on
I saw that.
175,000.
There's got to be money given behind it, like under the table. There has to be, right?
That's crazy to me,
I
dude.
know.
In my opinion, he's still the bantamweight goat. In my opinion,
I know.
You know,
dude.
so,
I think it's fucked up that Azamat Murzakanov made $24K to knock out Devin Clark, and Matthew Shuffle, who's not even that good, he's one win away from $1 million.
Yeah,
in
it's
PFL.
crazy,
So
right?
like, I'm telling you guys, I've been saying this for a couple of years, Marcel. If you're like a mid-tier guy, you're better off going to PFL. Just saying. So, and still that there's an option out there, Marcel, because it makes the UFC have to pay more money for these guys too. And they all deserve to get paid more money. We'll know this.
Look at Carlos Jr., right?
He made $2 million. Didn't he win 2 tournaments? I want to say. Didn't he?
At least
one.
I don't know
because he got injured, right?
Yeah.
Caleb, she made a lot of money. Loco, one is Shane Burgos has a lot of great featherweights. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. He's going to be out of the rankings. He's 14th. He's out. So get some other comments here. We're going to go through UFC Vegas, San Diego recap in a sec. What's up, sweet scientist? It wasn't an easy card at all. I don't really know too many people that did well. Everyone post their bet slips after having Nate Landwehr. I didn't hear anyone pick Nate Landwehr before this fight. They don't want everyone's betting on him, and they all had like huge bets on him. Like, I don't know, Marcel. Just you have to be careful what you believe when you read this stuff on Twitter sometimes, guys. That's all I'm going to say because I didn't hear anyone pick him, Marcel. I don't know about you, but I didn't see anyone pick him. So.
Someone gave us a shout out for picking somebody we didn't pick. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, I saw that. Someone said we picked Angelo Hill. I can't remember the guy's names on Twitter. I know you're listening, buddy. We didn't pick him, although I appreciated. We did say the line was too high, but I did say stay away from it. So what's up, Dirtworm? How's it going, man? Juan, what's up, man? He says it's Marcin Tibero fight week. It sure is, buddy. We're going to talk about in a sec. We're going to talk about Rob Wilkinson after as well. We're going to talk about PFL in a few minutes. Mexican girl. Yeah, she did really well. Her manager did really well. Yaragui. So her manager did well because she got 25 and 25. Yeah. But maybe there was a lot of leverage there. Maybe she would have been like, hey, we're going to sign with Bellator instead, so sign this for more money. I don't know. I still think Patty's first contract was a joke. So I did see James Carson's buddy, that Shea guy. He apparently had $3 million on Onama, but the thing is, it's not true $3 million because he was hedging out on Landwehr, basically trying to get a good line on both guys. So I don't know how much he lost, but yeah, I mean, I don't think he won money on that fight. That guy, I'm not sure what to think about him, honestly. Like, I think his analysis is pretty good, so I can't say too much. But the way that they were talking about that's kind of strange. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand like what he meant about like hedging out and stuff. Like, they were basically making the line lower to get a better number on Onama, then going heavy on him, then buying back on Landwehr later to like kind of hedge out. That's what they were doing. It's kind of complicated if you don't really understand like betting. But yeah, good pick. I mean, I didn't think he'd win. We're going to talk about it in a sec. As far as shuffle goes, I don't know. All right, let's get into the San Diego recap, Marcel. We're like 7 minutes into the podcast now. So we got a lot to talk about here. Let's just start with the main event, guys. Obviously, tough card, but I think we both got this one, Marcel. Marlon Vera. It's funny. I was going to say Marlon Cruz. There's a guy in my bowling league. His name's Marlon Cruz. So it's like basically both guys combined. He's a Filipino guy. He looked pretty good. I mean, I thought Cruz looked pretty good, I should say. And then he gets caught with a nasty head kick, just brutal head kick. Cheeto's just so nasty in those last couple of rounds. Like his cardio and his just pace is just it's very hard to like fight him in those later rounds. And I thought Cruz fought a really good fight, though. That's the thing, Marcel. I thought he was doing well. He obviously was winning on all three scorecards up to that point, 29-28. Got dropped 3 times in the fight, though. So, I mean, obviously his chin's going a little bit. Got dropped by Munoz's last fight. And Cruz capitalized on it. Give a shout out to Eric Nixick, the coach. Extreme Couture Marcel made a great call like a minute before. I have him on Twitter, right? So I'm following him. And, man, he's like, hey, this guy leans into those head kicks, and he got knocked out brutally. So great call there. Man, Marcel, it was a brutal knockout. I literally jumped off my chair seeing that knockout. That was one of those ones. Remember Joe Silva used to do the UFC? You'd see him freak out. He would have been freaking out if he saw that one. So, yeah, I mean, it was a great knockout, but I mean, he was losing the fight up to that point, but he ends up getting it done again. Just like the Rob, it was very similar to the Rob Font fight, Marcel. Getting outstruck, getting out volume, but the power is the difference, right? So, yeah, I mean, give me your thoughts on Cheeto, and we'll talk about the fight a little bit more after that. Like, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I loved the knockout as much as I hated it. You know what I mean? So because it was an amazing knockout for Chito Vera, I hated it for Cruz because, yeah, man, Cruz still one of the greats in my opinion. Not maybe now anymore, but overall, history-wise, So to see him get knocked out like that, I didn't like that. But, I mean, great win for Vera again. And for Vera, man, it's like it's a coming back thing the whole damn time, with Font. With Font, he also didn't look like he landed a lot, but he landed the most significant shots, in the fight, the most damaging shots, and it's against Cruz as well. I think Cruz kind of looked like vintage Cruz in the first 2 rounds, although getting dropped. Besides that, he looked like vintage Cruz. Besides getting dropped, you know what I mean? So I think he did very well, until he got finished, dude, in the fourth round. You know, the third round was also for Vera, was close, but was for Vera, and he got dropped in the fourth round or knocked out. So good win for Vera. I wonder where it puts him in the division. He was already on the fifth place, so lots of going on. You know, with TJ against Aljo, Marab against Aldo, and Jan against O'Malley. So a lot is going on in the division. Don't know what's happening. I also asked Cruz last week, like, what do you think is next if you win? And he was like, yeah, that's the thing. I have no idea. It's like there are so many matchups at the top of the division. I have no idea, you know. And of course, he was still imagining that he was going to win the fight. So the question now is not valid. But yeah, a lot of options, you know. But we got to wait how these other fights pan out, you know.
I agree. I mean, you can't say you're going to get the next title shot yet. You have to wait to see what happens at UFC 280, right? Like you have to see what happens there.
For sure.
And also this weekend, with Aldo and Marab, there's a lot of big fights coming up. So yeah, everyone's like, oh, he's gonna get the next title shot. I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I think he's gonna have to fight one more time.
Me too.
He actually fought back in the rankings in this fight, Marcel. I was a little surprised he took the fight. To be honest with you, like, I mean, it's still a big name, obviously, right? So
yeah, you know what it is. You know, you go to the backyard of one of the, still in my opinion, the biggest bantamweight of all time, the greatest of all time, in my opinion. You go to his backyard. Still, although he's not the champion anymore, that resume that Cruz had, you know, and still has, and the fighter he is, to have that on your resume, and the way Vera put this on his resume with a knockout win in the fourth round with a head kick, you know, that's huge. You know, you do never know before. There's always like a fight like you have more to lose than to win, you know. But if you win like this, like Vera did with a fourth round knockout with a head kick, you got a lot more to win, you know, in my opinion. He did exactly what he had to do pretty much by that knockout, and it stands beautiful, you know, on your list to have Dominick Cruz as a knockout win on your list.
I agree with that. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm just saying, like, Rob Font was ranked above him, and then he actually took a guy ranked below him for this fight. I think he's gonna have to fight again, guys. You know, we'll see. And what's up, man? This guy's saying O'Malley might get the shot. I mean, if he beats Pierre, he's getting it. There's 100%. That's what I think. And even if Yan wins, he probably gets it too, Marcel. Depending on, you know, with Sterling. And that's what I'm saying. It depends on the Sterling Dillashaw fight. Like, if Sterling wins, you probably don't do the trilogy fight. You probably have to do something else. So I don't know. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, but that's a smart thing from the UFC here, obviously, you know. You got Sterling against Dillashaw, and if Sterling wins, and imagine Jan winning, you can still look at Aldo, for example, if Aldo beats Marab, and if not, maybe Vera, you know. If Dillashaw wins, so many options are possible, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think if Dillashaw wins and Jan wins, Jan gets it. You know, if Dillashaw wins and Aldo gets it as well, or wins as well, I still think Jan gets it over Aldo because Jan beat Aldo, you know, for example. But there are so many options, so it's actually awesome, you know, at this moment. The only thing that sucks is that we have to wait till October 22nd, I think, before we know who's going to win between the two. You know?
I know it's still quite a bit of ways, so there's a lot going on, guys. Get some more comments here. Adam, are you the pound for pound champ of your bowling league? Man, I wish. There's some really good bowlers out there. Like, I'm pretty good. I have 2 300 games, like, so that's pretty good. But Marcel, there's some really good bowlers in my league, man. There's some awesome ones. So I'm good, but there's guys that are better than me. I'm like the Shane Burgos of my league, basically, Marcel. I'd probably be better off in PFL. Cruz last 2 wins against Casey and Pedro were 29-28. So if this was a 3-rounder, would have been another win for Dom. Yeah. He did win all 3 scorecards in the first and second round on the judges' scorecards. He was up 29-28, and that's what I had too. The judges scored it well, I think. The scoring was pretty good during that. There was one really bad decision. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. There's one horrible decision with card.
And the dude only got 10K.
I'll talk. We're going to talk about that because we have the salaries, Marcel. We have salaries. You know what? I'm going to pull up the salaries for this event. I want to pull them up. And I'll get some more comments. It seems like a lot of people are excited about this card. UFC San Diego salaries. Yeah, so it's one of those rare cards with the salaries. Also, the weights came out, Marcel. The weights.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's interesting. I wish that we could see that for every event. Also, I wish we could see before the fight started. I'll be honest with you. I'd like to see before the fight started. But
Boudet was 290 or something, right?
Yes,
293.
He was. He's a big boy. Boudet's a big boy. He's a former Marcel. He used to be apparently like a keyboard warrior, like a video game player, 375 pounds, and now he's an actual fighter in the cage. So if you're one of those guys that was like talking shit to him playing Call of Duty, he probably beat the shit out of you now. So although in this fight he didn't, I don't think he looked very good. We're gonna get some more comments. Cruz and Garbrandt. That would be a good fight. I mean, it kind of makes sense if he beats Yaya, kind of, because the first fight was, a big upset at the time. worrying Vera's a slow starter. It does worry me. I'll be honest, because you go against a guy like, a Peter Yan or something, or even a Sterling. Like, those are hard fights, man. And you're right. He's been giving up those. He coughs up the first couple of rounds, Marcel. Like, it's not great. But again, the guy is amazing in the championship rounds, as we know now. The last couple of fights, so he's an absolute monster. Do I think Vera will challenge for a belt at some point? Absolutely. Just not anytime soon. Like, it could be soon. I got to see though. There's 3 or 4 fights coming up in the division, so
I
think he's going to fight one more time. Pardon?
Imagine, let's say, I'm just thinking out loud. Imagine either Sterling or Dillashaw wins, and for the other fights, the winner of Jan and O'Malley and the winner of Aldo and Merab are both not able to fight. They're injured or something.
Yep.
Then Vera gets the title shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too early to say right now. It really is. But I would guess he has to fight one more time right now, if you're asking me. What's up, Antoine? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's just a busy day. Marcel, I know you're doing well as well. It's late for you right now, Marcel. What is it, midnight right now? Or
just over midnight.
Yeah, appreciate you doing it. You having an energy drink right now? Is that what you're drinking over there?
Yeah, but that's like my
it's like midnight. This guy's having a Monster Energy.
Yeah.
It's like Puna Soriano. Like, Merab wins and Sterling wins. Sterling moves off. Possibly, yeah, because he talked about that, right? Hey, Joe, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, buddy. UFC Bandweight Grand Prix would be amazing, but they won't do it. They're not going to do it. They're not good in 3-round fights. Also down against Edgar. That's true, actually. That wasn't 5 rounds. That was 3. But he was down 2-0 in that fight. Marcel came back and won. So actually, his last 3 fights, he was down early and came back and won. So I mean, it's impressive. But you're right. Like, he's giving up those early rounds, guys. You guys you're onto something for sure. Could you say that Usman Chimaev one of the greatest welterweight fights of all time? It is, but I mean, he's got to get past Edwards. And as you know, Antoine Edwards is a very good fighter. We're going to talk about him in the next podcast here. Let's keep going here.
You saw, by the way, that picture with the MMA hour where they had Demetrius Johnson and there the plate under it was Leon Edwards. That was funny.
Oh man, that's funny. Let me just get this comment. Edwards 1-1. What's up, Joe? I think it was 2-0. Was it not? I'm going to check the scorecard right now. Let me double check it.
I don't know for sure.
I'm looking right now. Oh, you're okay. You're right. Sorry. Sal Diamato had Frankie up 2-0. The other 2 judges had it 1-1. Okay, good call. Good call. One judge did. So I was kind of right.
It probably was 1-1 then. Sal Diamato had him up.
Yeah, it was. I think it probably was. What's up, Daniel? He thinks Vera style will age horribly. Maybe. I mean, man, he's only he's 29, right? Like, he's still really young. He's got so much experience. He's such a great fighter. I got to be honest, Marcel. I never expected this from this guy after Ultimate Fighter Latin America, right? I was like, he's not that good. I think he lost his debut or second fight, and I was like, I remember that fight with Davey Grant. Remember he kept grabbing the fence the first fight, the first one they had, and I was like, man, this guy is not that good. And then all of a sudden, he's just killing it now. So
yeah,
doing well. What's up, Tristan? Glad to have you here, buddy. Get a couple more comments.
Pretty weird way, he went through, because I remember him like against Kelleher out of nowhere. He grabs that submission back then, and then he loses to that guy, and then he wins again, and then he loses there, So and right now he's finally getting up, and
that's what I'm saying. Marcel, he lost to Marco Beltran in his debut. That guy's not good. The Psycho or whatever. He's not good. Like, he's not terrible, that guy, by the way. He's okay. He actually might make it back to the UFC, Marcel, to be honest with you, that guy. But I'm just saying, like, when I saw him lose to him in his debut, I'm like, this guy's not going to amount to anything. And then he's turned into one of the best fighters in the division. Like, he's so good. So, yeah, I like Marlon, man. And, he's had a lot going on outside the cage. Like, his daughter was, like, really sick. I mean, I don't know if she's doing a lot better now or not. Remember, Marcel, she had that real serious condition.
She couldn't smile, I think.
Yeah, it was really sad. It was terrible.
He fought in the beginning for in his career to get her surgery, and I think at the surgery, that's probably also a thing. I think I said it as well. Like, in the beginning, Marlon was purely fighting to get his daughter surgery. And he had a lot of on his mind. Yeah, and I think I think the surgery happened like maybe 3 years ago or something, and that's the moment when Marlon's career went up as well. So maybe that's also a thing.
I agree. I mean, like, the thing is, guys, like, the motivation you get from that is just like, it's unmatched. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked about this before. Like, I found I was like, it's different. Obviously, my kid, thankfully, she's healthy right now, anyways. But when I found I was going to be a dad, like, it completely like lit my ass on fire to like work harder. So I definitely know what it's like. I'm just looking at Vera's record, Marcel. 4 straight wins, and he's beaten Dominick Cruz, Rob Font, Frankie Edgar, Davey Grant. He also had that win over Sean O'Malley. The loss to Jose Aldo, but again, very close fight. He basically got backpacked in the 3rd round, loss. his run right now is unmatched. And also, I think he beat Song Yadong, honestly.
In my opinion as well.
So right now, I'm looking at his record to 4-7. So 11, he should be 11-1 in his last 12. This guy is fucking good. He's really good. He's just really good. Like, he's just awesome. Anyways, we barely talked about Cruz, but yeah, I mean, Cruz, he's still good, obviously, but I don't think he's going to be a champ anymore. So, and again, he dropped 3 times this fight, dropped once in the last fight. His chin's going a little bit, getting up there in age. But he did look really fast, though, in the first couple rounds. He looked really fast. He still beats a lot of the guys in the top 10, I think.
I just want to say, I still think he beats the majority of the guys in that.
I think so, too. I think this was just a hard fight. And honestly, Marlon Vera could be potentially ranked even higher. He's very good. This division's amazing, guys. This is the best division in the sport. I've been saying this for probably a year or two now. It's the best division in the sport. It's
not
so
only
stacked.
the UFC, right? Yeah,
it's so stacked. Surprise Cruz weighed. Oh yeah, the weights came out. He was like 3 pounds more or something. So that's interesting. He obviously is a master of weight cutting. He's been doing it a long time. Interesting. Cruz talking about managers do nothing. He makes his own deals. He gets 175K, way too low for a former champ. Early 20s UFC fights. 100% agreed. Again, he's probably getting paid some extra money under the table, guys. And also, I'm sure like the commentary gig he has, Marcel, he probably gets paid really well for that too. So I think he's doing well, but we don't know because like we just see what's disclosed, and at this point, that's what we go by. But I'm sure he's getting a little bit more outside of that, guys. If O'Malley wins, gets a shot, sets a nice rematch. It does. What are you saying?
Did you saw my interview with Cruz where I'm asking him like about the commentary, and he's like, I'm pretty good with all commentators. He's like, DC is one of my best friends or something, you know. And he's like, Bisping, yeah. He's the best friend of mine when he wants me to be a best friend. So I was like, how do you mean? He's like, Bisping is really odd sometimes, you know. We can be really cool with each other, but sometimes he really gets annoyed or something, you know, and he doesn't want to be around you or something. But it's funny. He's like,
yeah, I know. He's definitely a technical master, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a couple other comments here. Thought there was a cage grabbing cheater, dude. That's what I'm talking about. That first David Grant fight. Remember that fight? I was yelling at the TV that fight. It was like years ago now, but I'm like, this guy's grabbing the fence. Like, it was terrible. So, but he's turned into an amazing fighter. So it is what it is. You know, you never know, right? That's what I always say. You never know who the next champ's going to be. He's not the champ yet, but could be. Vera's also getting beat on his feet by O'Malley before the injury. I mean, he also caused the injury too, you know. But honestly, I'd like to see a rematch of that fight. I really want to see that rematch one day. What's up, Joe? He's talking about Nam. Yeah, so apparently he weighed like more. I think it's 15%. More pounds. He was 60%, so now he's gonna have a problem being licensed in California. But it's possible he could still get a license. They said if he changes his weight cutting program, meaning if he actually loses the weight, Marcel, instead of cutting the weight, he would actually if he dieted down more so than cutting it in water, he could still fight there. But we'll talk about him in a few minutes as well.
You know, I mean, he made weight. I know he was heavy on fight day. But I mean, how many times does the UFC go to California in a year? Maybe 2 times. You know, he can still fight in Nevada if he just.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, this is a really good show. I think this is a good fight. Frankie Edgar called out Dominick Cruz for his retirement fight. This fight makes so much sense. It actually makes a lot of sense. It makes sense. Winnable for both guys, quite frankly. I think they could both win. I would favor Cruz a little bit, probably, but Frankie could win that fight. It'd be a great fight. It makes a lot of sense. Cruz gets dropped because he's still letting the feet, probably. That first knockdown, the first round, didn't really do any damage to him, by the way, Marcel. No. That's why I still scored the round for him.
Me too.
Even though he got dropped because Cheeto didn't follow it up or anything either, you know? So, and all the judges had it that way as well. New mystical bowler at for childbirth Adam. Yeah, I wish. Okay, that's it for the main event, Marcel. Let's go down to co-main fight of the night here. Nate Landwehr, David Onama. It was a great fight. I honestly think I thought the women's fight was going to get fight of the night. The 2 young girls.
Also after this fight,
I thought so still because I thought that fight was really good because Dana came to the cage and hugged her and stuff. That's what I thought. I don't have a problem with these guys getting a fight tonight. It was a great fight. So let's get your thoughts on this one. So overall, I mean, this was a hard card for picking. I thought for sure Onama would win this fight. First round is exactly where I thought the fight would go. Drops him, and then can't finish him. Kind of gassed out a little bit trying to finish him. And then Landwehr comes back second round, 10-8 round, arguably 10-7 round. Just complete brutalization in the third round, or between the second and third round. David's like, I can't see, and James Krause asked him 10 times, do you want to fight? He didn't even answer him. They just sent him back out. Now he did make it through the third round. Actually, Michael Bell, who we both think is a great judge, I don't know how he gave him the third round. I don't agree with that. I'll be honest with you. I think Nate Landwehr clearly won this fight. 29-27 is a great scorecard. what the other two judges had. But I got to be honest, Marcel, I don't think he should have even been sent out for the third round. You know, when you're saying I can't see,
saw your tweet.
I don't think the fight should have went to the third round. Now, obviously, after watching it happen, he ended up having the gas and didn't get finished, so whatever. But at the time, Marcel, when we saw him say I can't see, that's when you stopped the fight, in my opinion. So I don't know what you think about it. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he ended up making it the distance and didn't take a ton of damage in that third round. It was more like they were like flexing the crowd and everything. But yeah, I thought at the time it could have been stopped, honestly. I thought they could have thrown the towel in, Marcel, had a corner stoppage. But at the end of the day, Landwehr, second straight upset, Marcel, we both didn't see coming, to be honest with you. I didn't see the one against Klein coming and not this one either. So the guy is he's a hard fighter to pick. I got to be honest, Marcel, because I remember I picked him against Herbert Burns. He got knocked out. I think I picked him against Darren Elkins. He won that fight, though a lot of us thought Elkins could have won that fight with the bleeding. And then against Arosa, I'm like, oh, he'll definitely knock Arosa out. Then he gets knocked out. I'm 0 for 5 in this guy's fights. I suck at picking Nate Landwehr. He's another guy. There's some fighters you're good at picking fights, and some you're not. Nate Landwehr's not a guy I'm good at picking his fights. He's definitely a fun, exciting guy, Marcel, but age 34, a guy who takes a lot of damage in his fights. He's been dropped a couple times now. He's an exciting guy, guys, but I just think slowly roll. I saw Billy Q call him out. That's the kind of fight that I think makes sense. You know, two unranked guys. They're just below the top 15. I think it makes sense. It'd be a good fight. Anyways, give me your thoughts on the matchup, man.
And I had to laugh earlier today because after Burgos was on the MMA hour, Nate Landwehr came on the MMA hour. And so Ariel asked him, who do you want to fight? He's like, yeah, man, I want to take on Shane Burgos. That would be such an amazing fight. And then Ariel was like, dude, Shane was just in studio and he announced he's going to the PFL. And Nate Landwehr was like, oh, man, then it's not going to happen.
That would be a good fight, too.
Yeah, it would be a great fight. The fight, yeah, I think the first round, I think Onama did well. And honestly, I thought Nate Landwehr was knocked out, but he was so quick to woke up. Yeah, and the fight continued. First round for Onama. Second round, clear round for Nate Landwehr. 10-8 round, in my opinion. Could be even the 10-7 round. Would have been out of a problem with it. Third round, I think it was more even, but Landwehr was more dominant in that round. I think Onama actually did a little bit more than he did in the second round. You know, he even almost dropped him in the last 10 seconds, but wasn't enough for me to score the round for him, you know. So I went with Landwehr, I think 29-27 for Landwehr. But I got to say, dude, people were shitting on Michael Bell. You guys better not shitting on Michael Bell because I'm coming for your ass, you know. It's like
he's probably probably the best judge, I would say. I think he's the best judge. I don't agree with the scorecard in this fight, but in general, I think he's the best judge.
Probably one of the few times I didn't agree with the scorecard. I was like, this is actually not a real good scorecard. Sometimes it's like he has a scorecard, you can see it another way, but there's actually, you can make a point for that card. You know what I mean? You can make an argument for it. But yeah, he's a great judge. I don't think he was right here, but two judges did have it for the right winner, I think. So yeah, good win for Landwehr, man. I didn't expect it at all. Also, take in mind, Onama actually fought last month as well, you know, so he took this fight on short notice. Landwehr was supposed to fight Sabara Tugugov. Maybe that had something to do with it as well, because his cardio wasn't as important as normally. But yeah, good win for Landwehr. Looking forward to next. And I think the Billy Q fight would be amazing. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I think Dave Fretz, our boy, posted on Twitter.
Man. I can't see that.
Now. Yeah, I can't see it either, man. It's just weird. They're doing that. What song is that? Is it 50 Cent or something? I can't remember who it is now, but song. And
what was it again? Yeah, let me see.
I can't remember either, but it's you guys. I actually Marcel tweeted it today. It's weird.
I retweeted it. Let me
get
check.
some more comments
here.
Adam. The fight was so freaking awesome. The women's fight was a hell of a card. It was a good card. It was a really good card.
Here it is.
Edgar wants to fight. Yeah. Onama Gas. Oh, it's not.
That's Mariah Carey and Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I heard it really quick this morning. I just saw the mouth moving. It's funny though. Let's get some more comments. Onama gassed 3 minutes of the fight, 2 weight cuts in a few weeks. It was a month ago, but yeah, definitely. I mean, he used to fight at 55, right? So I think the weight cut to 45 is not easy. Cruz said, I don't care if you want to fight. I have a lot of money on you. It's funny. I'm sure that, listen, that's the thing. He's betting on his guys. He's open about it, okay? He's open about it. He talks about it all the time. He bets on all his guys, okay? I don't really have a problem with it, I'll be honest with you, but it definitely played a factor. I mean, how could it not? Marcel, knowing that you have money on a guy, you're not going to be like, all right, I'm stopping the fight. Like, of course you're going to let it continue. But I just think the fight could have been stopped. That's all I'm saying. Now, it went the distance. It's fine. He ended up getting a bonus, so I'm sure he's glad they didn't stop it. But
yeah,
Marcel, I got to be honest. Like, after seeing that second round, and the guy saying, I can't see, I just thought the doctor would even come in, or the ref would have been like waving it off. Also, by the way, Nate Landwehr landed an illegal 12-6 elbow.
Yeah, I saw that. You saw Cruz
and
also.
Mike Beltran didn't do shit about it, didn't say anything. Even the commentators were like, "Isn't that 12? That was 12-6." I'm like,
yeah.
Man, I'm like, that was a nasty move. Then wait, that's illegal. You can't.
And that was a nasty 12-6.
It was a nasty one. Like you mounted and then bang straight down.
Yeah. You saw James Krause in the background also, like, dude.
It was a 12-6, and it was damaging too. So it could have been a point deduction. Really, like imagine it was a point deduction.
Yeah,
it was a really nasty 12-6. I'm just saying, like, anyways, the right guy won the fight. At the end of the day, the right guy won the fight. Nate Landwehr deserved to win this fight. I was wrong about this fight. I'm glad he got the win.
Yeah,
I agree, Joe. It's a good fight. The draw is a bad scorecard. Ryan Spann and Dominick Reyes. Yeah, I haven't even thought about that fight, but I mean, if Reyes loses, someone said PFL. Probably. I mean, he'd probably get released, unfortunately. Who would you guys honestly have in Jan versus Vera? I haven't even thought about it yet, man. I got to think about that more.
I first
it's a good
pick, I would go with Jan.
I probably would too. I think I would honestly pick Peter against most guys, but I'd have to think about that because I think Vera's really good. So they're both really good in like the last couple of rounds too. So that's the interesting thing, right? Like remember Jan against Aldo, like that last couple of rounds.
True.
Gerald Meerschaert's a hard guy to pick, man. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. Hey, what's up, Marcus? When I see fighters like Onama and Cruz start off fast and then burn a lot of energy in the first round, my gut tells you they will probably lose. Yeah, I mean, Cruz definitely was looking fast, but you're right, he did burn a lot of energy. What's up, Mahesh, Jerry Nightmare? We'll talk about in the next podcast. Let's keep going here. We got the women's fight. Yasmin Jauregui defeats Yasmin Lucindo. Marcel, did I not call this being a good fight? I said last week it would be a good fight. I knew it would be a good fight, man, because I did the tape. I listened to Dominick Cruz and I did my case study on this one. Both girls are good. Both of them are going to have really good careers in the UFC. Mm-hmm. You have a 23-year-old. You have a 20-year-old. They're both really good fighters. This was a really hard fight to score, I think, Marcel. I know that it was unanimous for Jauregui. I think you can make the argument for Lucindo. I really think you can. You know, two of the judges had her win in the first round. I actually thought the third round was like possibly close. And if you look at the stats, like that was the closest round. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the scorecards at all. I'm just saying like it was that close, Marcel. But at the end of the day, Yasmin Jauregui gets the win. I think this is big for her career. She looks like a future star, Marcel. I got to be honest. She's got everything that going for her. She's a good fighter. She's good looking. She's good on the mic. Everything. Now, I know she doesn't speak English yet, but she's definitely marketable, Marcel. And I think when they go back to Mexico, she'll be on that card with Brandon Moreno and a bunch of other fighters. So, and Lucindo, when they go to Brazil in January, she's got to be on that card. They have to throw her on that card. Give her a crowd. She deserves it again. I just really like this fight. I thought this was one of the best women's fights I've seen in the UFC in a long time. I thought they should have also got a fight of the night. I think they should have given out extra bonuses. I was pissed when I saw they only gave out the regular 4 bonuses. Why not give out extra bonuses for this card? They're like, oh, another sellout crowd. We made all this money. Give out some extra fucking money. These fighters, they fought their asses off, and especially Lucindo, Marcel. I think she's on 12-12. She could have really used that $50K extra. So, I don't know. I think this fight was amazing. I feel both fights were great, but I would have given them both fight of the night. And they did that before. They've given out 2 fight of the night before. Anyways, give me your thoughts.
Sometimes I have the feeling they want to keep the poor for some reason. I don't know. But, you know, yeah, I don't know, man. I have something for Yasmin Jauregui, and I don't know what it is, but I really like to see her.
She's really a good fighter.
Yeah, besides that, I'm not even talking about the fighting. I don't know what I have for her, but
she's a good-looking girl. There's only one saying that, like, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was an amazing fight. In my opinion, probably one of the best fights between 2 debuting
100%.
girls. And even combined with the man debuting, you know, just with 2 debutants was an amazing fight. You know,
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, was high level. I think these 2 girls can beat a lot of ranked girls at this moment, you know, if you saw how they fought. And I was like, when I saw Landwehr against Onama, I was like, damn, dude, they're gonna get that fight of the night. Although I think Jauregui and Lucindo would get that fight of the night on every other card we have seen. Pretty much almost every other card we've seen this year, you know, maybe not on 3 or 4, but all the other.
Can I just say something quickly? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Billy Q, we were speaking of, when he fought Burgos.
Yeah.
They had an absolute war, and then right afterwards, Chandler Gaethje. It reminds me of that. And I think even in that card, they should have given an extra fight of the day bonus for both those guys, too. So.
And I tell you, to be honest, technically that Burgos Carantillo fight was better than Chandler Gaethje, but Chandler Gaethje just had everything going, bigger names, people getting crazier, and it was right before that fight.
Well, those fights are so crazy, man.
Yeah, it was amazing,
Yeah.
So, but to go back to this fight, man, I think both girls can go very far in the division. I really like what I saw. Lucindo, 20 years of age, man. I mean, if you can put on a fight like that, and already has a lot of experience, in MMA. I think she started when she was 14. Horegi, also a very good fighter. I love what I saw. I think you did as well. Many people did. So yeah.
I like both girls, Marcel. I think they're both really good. The other girl's 20 and she has like 18 fights, guys. That's crazy. Yeah. That's insane.
I mean, what were you doing when you were 14?
Dude, I was playing video games. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was doing just teenager stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was doing, dude. So almost have to bet GM3 sub and Paul Craig sub every fight. They managed to get the sub somehow. True. Actually, not at 14. I think I started at 16. I don't think I was smoking at 14. I'm just saying. It was like grade 9 or 10. So I don't know. Playing a lot of video games. That's what I remember. A lot of MLB The Show. That was my game 20 years ago.
I did a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I think.
Pardon?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, yeah. TPS was amazing. Yeah, for sure. THPS, I should say. Nate Championship robbed the fight night award. Possibly. I really believe MMA companies should allow cross-promotion to raise fighter pay. At least that's what boxing is doing. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I think at the end of the day, UFC can pay more and they just choose not to, They should pay them more. Now let's get to the next fight here because this guy is getting absolutely robbed in the UFC. 12-12 contract for Azamat versus Kanov. Second straight third-round knockout, this time over Devin Clark, who's a very, very tough guy, and finished him, Marcel. So Azamat is a beast. He's undefeated, 12-0. I think he should get a top 15 guy, Marcel, because he's 34, right? So he's 33. He's 33. He's the same age as me. He deserves a top 15 guy, and he should get that because he's a little into his career now. I like this guy, Marcel. I did pick him in this fight. I knew it would be a tougher fight, but it really wasn't tough at all. Marcel, he kind of dominated it. It wasn't a hard fight at all for him. That's why I think, Clark is a good fighter. I think he deserves a top 15 guy. Go ahead.
I thought Clark's game plan was really stupid, and I like Devin Clark, but same goes for Lupi Godinez earlier that night. It's
we're going to talk about her in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I really like Devin Clark. I think he's a really, really nice dude as well. I talk sometimes to him as well, but it's a really stupid game plan he had against Morzakhanov. And you saw his dad in between rounds.
David Clark,
crazy.
I think that's his name, David. Man, he was screaming. And Mark Montoya, the coach, he's like, calm down, man. He's like, calm down. And he's like, come on, you gotta go. You gotta go. And they're like trying to give him technical advice. Yeah. But to be honest with you, when you're down 2-0, you're getting your ass kicked. You don't really need technical advice. You need someone to scream at you to tell you, get the fuck going. You have 5 minutes left to change your life. That's what I would want in my corner too, to be honest with you. Go ahead, Marcel.
You need like a safe Saud, you know what I mean?
You need a hype man. That's what his dad is, man.
Exactly.
I still don't know about having family members in your corner. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure about it, but this guy is something different, man.
For sure. And it helped him before, you know what I mean? So,
which was the fight? Was it the William Knife? Or no, the fight with Jan Kutalaba, right? It was like, keep going, show your heart. I know what you're saying, but you guys
Manifield as well, I think. So
I mean, the Manifield fight too.
Yeah. It's like Morzakhanov. The thing with Morzakhanov is he came through the Contender series, right? And that's why he has a 10K contract and 12K now. So
garbage.
Garbage is for sure. Because the thing is also with Morzakhanov, he had a 2-year ban. UFC signed him, I think, in 2017, and he got a 2-year USADA ban, and he couldn't fight until 2019. Went to Brave, got the open weight tournament, won there, and then UFC took him back. So via Contender series.
I completely forgot he was suspended by USADA, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was supposed to be fighting Joaquin Christensen, I think, in his debut.
Oh, he would have destroyed that guy. That guy's not good at all.
Yeah.
He would have destroyed him. Yeah.
So the thing is, I hope he gets a top 15 guy. I think he deserves it. He looks super good in this fight. And I picked Clark, last week. So I thought Clark would pull it off, but no chance at all. Morzakhanov did perfectly, and all credits to Morzakhanov. I hope he gets a ranked opponent next.
Yeah, I think Azamat and Cruz makes sense. Cruz called him out, I think. That's a fight that he actually called out the winner of Kutalaba and Walker. That fight's also a good fight. So it's funny. So by the way, it's not on his Tapology record. But he did fight on Jan Kutalaba, and I've seen the video of it. But they're wearing a gi with MMA gloves. It's so weird. Have you seen this fight?
No.
Google it. Google it right now. Watch it
I'll
after. Jan Kutalaba versus Azamat versus Khan from 2010, I think. But they're wearing a gi and they're fighting MMA, so I don't know if that's technically an amateur fight. What do you say?
Cruz should call out Harry Hunsucker, because Harry Hunsucker only fights Australian guys.
Nego Mariano and Azamat. I think Nego Mariano is pretty good too, but I think Azamat's going to get a higher rank guy in my opinion because I just think finishing Devin Clark is not an easy thing to do necessarily, and I think that he looked good. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. I did pick this one right. Priscilla Cachoeira against Aaron Lipsky. I called this fight good. So, but I didn't want anything to do with it either. Just because I wasn't sure with the back-to-back weight cuts with the moving up and weight. I was kind of like a little scratching my head, but I did think she'd win just because Aaron Lipsky's not that good, Marcel. I gotta be honest with you, man. She's not that good. She's 3-5 now in the UFC, and she's been finished 3 times in the last 4 fights. Pardon?
Crazy, actually, because she had such high hype when she came in the UFC, the
KSW?
Queen of Violence, So
I don't know about the nickname anymore. I got to be honest with you, Marcel. I'm not sure if it matches anymore because she's getting finished almost every fight now. She's a fun fighter to watch, but I don't know. Cachoeira, by the way, Marcel, a girl that we didn't really like at the beginning, but now she's won 4 or 5 by knockout, 3 of the last 4.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on this fight quickly?
She has power, I think it was a super stupid decision with Lipsky throwing down against her. If you one thing you don't want to do with Cachoeira is throwing down with her. Exchanging leather, and she exactly did that. And Cachoeira pretty much she didn't knock her out, but she TKO'd her and was like a dude. Like 14 unanswered punches on the ground before the ref steps in. He could have stepped in way earlier, in my opinion.
Yeah, but, I think so too.
Yeah, good.
I think that was a late stoppage for sure. Yeah, agreed.
And I hope she got some extra money from the UFC because she made weight last week. Lipsky didn't. Now she won. TKO early in the first round. Didn't get a bonus. So I hope she got some extra money. I think she deserved it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's funny because, she was clawing out. What's that girl's? Gillian Robertson clawing her eyes out.
Yeah,
we all hated her. That was last year. That was only a year ago. We all hated this girl after that. Now she's become a fan favorite almost. Marcel in 2 fights. So it's interesting, right?
It was a nasty thing she did. But remember that Li Jingliang did the same to Jake Matthews, and nobody talks about that anymore. So that's
true, actually. Yeah, he also clawed his eyes out. Henry rank guys will keep the guy. I mean, the UFC likes him, obviously. Jacoby should. I don't know why Jacoby's manager took the Khalil Roundtree fight. I don't really get it, Marcel. I got to be honest. I would have definitely held out for a top 10 guy.
Remember, I sent that when that was out by, I think Iridium posted it. When it was out, I tweeted it to you, DM. I was like, dude, wow. How you go from Down Jung to Khalil Roundtree. It's just weird to me,
Yeah. All right. Then starting off the main card, we had Gerald Meerschaert submit Bruno Silva. I mean, I didn't really see this coming. I got to be honest with you. He's another guy I have a hard time picking his fights, Marcelo, because he always pulls these 3rd-round submissions off.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, you could have given him a bonus, too. I thought he looked phenomenal in this fight, honestly. Bruno Silva looked horrible. I can't believe how bad he looked. What the hell?
If he fought like this against Alex Pereira probably got a title shot off that fight.
He probably would have knocked him up even quicker than he knocked out Strickland. What the hell happened to him in this fight? You think it's because of the heat in the arena? People were saying it was really hot in there. You think that had something to do with it, or you just had a bad fight?
I mean, homeboy's from Brazil. I mean, so it's
you're right. It was just a horrible fight. It was by far his worst performance. I mean, now he was losing against Andrew Sanchez in his second fight in the UFC, but he knocked him out, right? So there was signs that maybe this guy's not as good as we thought, but I still thought he would have won this fight, man.
This one, I mean, Gerald Meerschaert was even better in the stand-up.
On the stand-up,
and he knocked him down in the 3rd round as well. So
that's the thing. He dropped him before the submission. That's impressive too. So I mean, Gerald looked good. You could have given Gerald a bonus too. What are you gonna say?
And he got I think his 9th submission win in middleweight division history, which is a record. So very nice.
I don't know any news on Hamdi, but I think they almost should have did 2 cards in Abu Dhabi because, man, there are a lot of fighters from that region, and the card's full now, I think. Isn't it full?
But I don't understand why they don't do that pay-per-view event and just a fight night.
That's what they should have did, right?
Because there are many fighters who have visa issues still. You know what I mean? And they can't fight in America. Make them fight on a fight night card in Abu Dhabi. Make 2 fights. Make it a complete week.
I completely agree. Completely agreed.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised they didn't do 2 cards. There's also an off week in October. There's a week where there's no card. So in September, by the way, it's kind of weird. I'm surprised that they're skipping weeks. I know next week, obviously, there's no card.
Are the Contender series still going on October?
I think it is. I think the Contender's still going, but I'm just surprised by that they're skipping all those weeks because Dana wants the card every week.
Yeah.
It's where the stuff start. Valentina.
Tough start.
Oh, a tough start. Yeah. The Valentina fight was a brutal beatdown. I never thought she'd mount to anything. Actually, I was at her fight with Luana Carolina in Brazil. I was at that fight, so she got kicked in the head in the 3rd round, and I like this girl's not good at all. And then all of a sudden she's rattled off a good career. It's kind of surprising, to be honest with you. Again, like you never know, right? Maybe sure similar game plan Herman's users Curtis, maybe sure Curtis makes sense, I guess. I mean, is Herman's ever? Oh yeah, Herman's fighting Derek Brunson. Okay, you could do that fight. I would watch that fight. Sure, I have no problem with that one. Kai Burrell is really good, man. I think his ceiling in the top 15, top 10. I don't think he's a champ though. I don't think he's a champ. But I think he's very good.
His ground game is that good that he can control many people with it, and the stand up is not bad either. So
no, he's really good. There's no doubt. All right, let's go through the prelims. Let's go through it quickly, Marcel, if we can. Angela Hill defeats Luby Godinez. I thought the line was high, but I still thought Luby was going to win. She had a horrible game plan, low fight IQ in this fight. I got to be honest, Marcel, she's kind of overrated, man. She's 3-3 now in the UFC, guys. Like, she's not that good. She's not as good as we think. Like, yeah, she looked amazing against Adrian Canellosi, but
should be 4-2 to be really honest.
Okay, she should be Jessica Penne, but still, Marcel, like she definitely lost to Carolina, who's like just average. And now Angela Hill's like, yeah, I know she's ranked, but guys, she's pretty like old. Like she's 37. Like this is the fight that the UFC wanted Lupi to win, and she lost pretty clearly, in my opinion. Any quick thoughts on this fight? I just thought she looked really bad, Marcel.
I think the game plan was bad as well, just like the clock one, you know. If you're that much better in grappling than your opponent, why the hell you don't try to grapple, you know? She was way too much comfortable with the stand-up, and you saw she still hit Angela Hill a lot, you know, but Angela Hill was walking forward and hitting her as well, you know? So when it's like almost like leveled with who hits and who doesn't hit, you're going to go to look at pressure as well. And I think Angela Hill wanted it more in the third round. You know, it was 1-1 going into the third round. Angela Hill clearly wanted it more in front of her fans. You know, she trains in San Diego, right? So, teammate of Cruz. So, I mean, she wanted it more. She deserved it this time. This time, no. I mean, there was no controversy. She won 2 rounds, so she got the win. And, I think Lupi got a golden chance to get in the rankings here, in my opinion, and she didn't took it. So I was really disappointed with that. But good for Hill, you know. She finally got a win again, and the UFC obviously loves Hill as well, so she will keep fighting in the UFC, I think. And she is now 14-12 instead of 13-13. Still looks better, you know what I mean?
It's true. All right, next fight: Martin Budai defeats Lucas Bresky. This is a horrible fucking decision. This is terrible. Mike Bell, our guy, got the scorecard right, 29-28. This fight was not hard to score. Bresky clearly won the first 2 rounds. The numbers show it. Marcel, the second round, which 2 of the judges, Sal Diamato, the dumbass, and Elliot Kelly, I don't even know who that is. They gave it to Budai. I don't know how. He only landed him 43-19, Bresky. There was no knockdowns. There was no takedowns. How did Budai win this round? It's just one of those fights where the judges are like, all right, we'll keep it tied, and you guys can decide in the third. Like, it's almost like that. Marcel, come on. This was a horrible decision. Like, if you bet on Budai, you got really lucky in this fight, guys, you know?
Even 30-27 Bresky was more possible than 29-20.
He actually outstruck him 34-22 in the third round, too, and there was no knockdowns again. So, yeah, I think the third round, the damage was more in Budai's favor. That's why I'd give it to him. But you're right, Marcel. You could make that argument. Marcel, is this a robbery? It's close to it, right? It's got to be, right?
It's really bad. You know, I was convinced that Bresky got the decision, you know, and I was shocked. Even when Joe Martinez was writing the score or was announcing the scorecards, and I hear the judges' names, I was like, "Oh God, we're going to get a split decision." How is it possible? And then you had 2 of the 3 judges who go in for Budai. Really weird, you know. I don't know how, but I mean, man, and I feel bad for Bresky because he's on a 10K
10
contract.
10, you know? Guys, he made 10,000. Yeah. He got robbed of his 10,000.
Yeah.
Marcel, Budai's not as good as maybe we thought at first, eh?
Yeah, I mean, he ain't bad, you know, he ain't bad, but I don't think he is like, maybe he's not like top 10 material or whatever, you know.
By the way, I want to mention this too. So he gained a lot of weight because he cut weight to make 266. He went to 290, so he was 290, and Bresky was only 240. He was a 50-pound weight advantage and barely won this fight. Again, I don't think he won the fight. I think this is a really bad scorecard. This is a bad scorecard, guys. Glenn, Budai's punches were harder. Hard to know when they value that. I guess. I mean, maybe. In the third round, I would agree with that. Second round, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess the judges saw that, though, so you're probably right, Glenn, but I didn't see it that way, you know? All right, let's get down to the next one. Marcel, we'll go through the rest quickly a little bit. Nina Nunes defeats Cynthia Calvillo. I did predict this one, Marcel. I had this one right as well. So I told you, Marcel, just pick the underdog in the women's fights, right? That's the way to go. Yeah, I mean, she looked pretty good. Again, a close fight. I'm not sure how it was a split decision. Was the judge Derek Cleary? Someone said his nickname should be Derek Blurry because he saw this fight wrong. Marcel, come on. It was clearly Nunes' fight. And then she retired, which surprised me, but she wants to have more children with Amanda. Yeah, she had a decent career. Not great by any means, but a decent career. She ended her UFC career 5-4, so a positive record. Had some good wins. Not the most. This fight was not the most exciting. It was a pretty bad fight, to be honest with you, but she got the job done. Any thoughts quickly?
Oh man, that whole Nina Nunes, Amanda Nunes with the kid bores me the fuck out. You know that. You don't have to see that on screen like every 5 seconds. You're there to fight. You know, you're proud of your family. I understand that. Be happy. You know. But I don't have to see it every 1 or 2 seconds on my screen. You know, it's just annoying at a certain point.
At the press conference too, like the reporters are doing their job, and listen, like the little girl's just there. She's a little girl. She doesn't know what's going on, but she was just like talking the whole time. You couldn't hear Nina saying, like, it wasn't the right place for her to be. I get she retired, and but they could have brought her out at the end after she asked the questions. They could have taken some photos with their daughter. You know what I mean? Or so like.
Right.
I just think it was, I don't know. I agree with what you're saying. Like, I have a kid too. Like, I want her to be there when I have special moments, but at the same time, like, I'm with you. I'm with you completely.
Yeah, it's just weird. I think we have this conversation before. You know, you're like, if I work, I have my daughter here as well, but it's different. You know, you have like an office job like me as well.
Right,
you know,
right.
But it's, for example, when I did what was like doing the mail as a mailman. Imagine having my daughter on my hand. You know, it's just weird. Does it make sense? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's just kind of. I'm happy for them. Don't get me wrong, but just kind of annoys me. It's what Joe says. It's kind of cringy to me as well. But yeah, good win for Nunes. Happy for her. She gets out retirement with a win. For Calvillo, what the hell happened to her, man? I have the feeling she completely lost her confidence.
Dude, she looks terrible. Like that's why I picked against her. I'm like, man, she looked so bad against Andrea Lee. She looked horrible.
I feel so bad for her, man.
Dude, when she started her career, I thought she'd be a champ. I gotta be honest, guys. Like, I really thought this division, like the Carla Esparza fight was so close. Like, I'm like, man, if she can, go the distance and almost beat Carla, like she'll be special one day. And just never panned out now in a different weight class. Looks terrible. I agree with Glenn though. The 70K, she might get one more, guys, because the division she's still ranked, I think. But actually, she's ranked in this division, I think. Based on the win over Jessica Ai, who's also retired. So yeah, I don't know what to say. What's up, Tajik Bay? How's it going, man? Also, I missed this question. He was asking about Burgos. Do you think more UFC fighters will leave for PFL more money? I think so, but you have to end your contract. It has to be a fighter the UFC won't match your contract. And Burgos is a good fighter, but he's not a champion. So, Calvillo and Kovacevic. No, I think actually Angela Hill called out Kovacevic. Yeah. So I think they might do that fight. She wants to fight her. That might be the one because they're both coming off a win. It's not grateful, dude. Great to see Nunes get a final win. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm happy for her, but it was just not a great fight, Marcel. No. But yeah, it's always better to see someone go out on a win rather than a loss. It doesn't happen that often. All right, a couple more fights here. Gabriel Benitez, our guy, Marcel, just destroys Charlie Ontiveros again. I got to be honest, Charlie looked really good in the first couple minutes of this fight again. Just like the Steve Garcia, Marcel, he might be like the best 1 minute fighter in his division. He looked amazing. His kicks were fucking phenomenal. And I'm always like, why is this guy on the roster? Like, he's been knocked, by the way, his record's 11-9. All 9 of his losses are by knockout, okay? Or submission. I would actually give him one more fight. I got to be honest with you. I think he's got one more fight in his deal. I think I would give it to him, Marcel, because you know what? He is a guy that will come to fight, But again, just gets destroyed. And this was an easy fight to call. I actually think this is the easiest fight to call in the whole card.
He has to do one thing to get another fight. Don't do the braids, but give me the sideshow belt.
I know. I was kind of disappointed he did the braids, but yeah, you know what, man? Like, I would give him one more fight. I've been harsh on this guy just because, like, again, I think the UFC should only be the best fighters in the world, but the guy comes to fight. Even though he's getting finished, he's coming to fight. I would give him the last fight in his 10-10. He's only making 10,000, guys. It's not like it cost the UFC any money to keep him on the roster, So give him one more, but he's not that good, obviously. Tyson Nam knocks out Ode Osborne. Brutal knockout gets the bonus. I don't know what Osborne was thinking, going for that flying knee, leaving his hands down, and that right hand was beautiful, just perfectly timed. And you saw the eyes roll the back ahead of Osborne. Just an amazing win by Tyson Nam. Happy for him too. Hadn't fought in a while. Had that nasty, I think, ACL tear, like a 19th month layoff. So really nice to see him get a win. I've always liked Tyson Nam, Marcel. He's a veteran. I posted my DVD. I had them on my shelf. Elite XC5. Albert Batman in like 2005 or 6 or whatever. So veteran in the sport. Big fan of Tyson Nam. Glad to see him get the win. Quick thoughts.
Big fan of Tyson Nam. That rhymes.
I like him, Marcel. He's a really good fighter. Yeah.
He did really well. And he has some big wins in his career as well, against Eduardo Dantas, against Ali Bagotinov.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I picked Osborne in this one.
Me too.
But, but he looked good, perfect timing on that punch when Ode went for that flying knee. Good win overall. And looking forward what's next for him. Maybe he gets back in the rankings now with this win.
By the way, Bisping was like, or Cormier was like, or was it Cormier was saying, "Oh yeah, Osborne's winning," and Bisping's like, "Hold on, like the fight just got started," and then bang, like, don't even say that 2 minutes into a fight. Like, what's the point of saying that?
Yeah.
So yeah, Osborne was looking good, but gets knocked out. Josh Quinlan, Marcel knocks out Jason Witt. I mean, really, it's not a surprise. Like, I did think that Witt could win with the wrestling, but I'm not surprised he got knocked out. Jason Witt are probably retired, Marcel. These are brutal knockouts. These are really bad knockouts where, like, his eyes are rolling in the back of it. He's, like, stiff on the ground. All four is lost to the UFC by knockout in the first or second round, Marcel. I think that might be it for him in the UFC, although he does have that win over Brian Barberina a year ago, which is crazy. That's one of the most surprising wins in the last couple of years, Marcel. I was so surprised he won that fight. Go ahead.
I don't want to take anything away from Jason Witt, but that was the first fight I think Barberina came back from his surgery.
Yeah, you talked about this. I know you said that.
So maybe that's something to do with it. I don't know. I don't want to take that away from him. But dude, when he took down Quinlan, I was like, "Oh shit, you might do what Adam said."
I was like, "Yes." But then he gets just absolutely brutalized by.
And also respect to Quinlan for holding back on that second punch.
I'm shocked at a guy that doesn't seem to care. He calls himself Bushido because he's like, I have this like warrior spirit and like I care about like the integrity of the sport. And I'm like, dude, you got caught for doping twice. Like you're not exactly the martyr of like clean sport. But yeah, it was nice to see him hold off unlike Henderson when he fought Bisping. Yusuf Zalal, Damon Blackshear, Damon, third round. Was a 10-8 round for Zalal, and that's why it was a draw. But I'm going to give credit to Marcel because he did think Blackshear would win the fight. And it was a majority decision. So I think a draw is a good scorecard, though, Marcel, on this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, also short notice fight, for Damon Blackshear. I think he's a good fighter. He got the first 2 rounds. They were close, not going to lie, but I think he got the first 2 rounds. And for me, clear 10-8 round for Zalal in the third. So I was okay with the draw. I think the draw was a good outcome. The only thing I hate with the draw is that nobody gets a win bonus. But yeah,
that's the problem too. Yeah. By the way, do you think they'll give Zalal another fight? Because now he's 3-3-1. Do you think they'll give him one more because he had a draw?
It pretty much depends on how much money he's on. I don't think he has. You can.
What did he make? What
24 maybe. 24.
I had it out. Here it is. Here's the salaries. Yusuf Zalal made. Oh, I don't see it here. It's kind of weird. I don't see it. Maybe. 24,000. Yeah, that's it now. Right. Yeah, they might cut him though. Jason Witt's on 23. But I think he should just be retired. At this point. Anyways, this guy bet a penny on Vero's by first round knock. Dude, I mean, he had some crazy kicks. Fight was good. All right, that's it for UFC San Diego Vera Cruz. Final thoughts on this card, Marcel. I always ask you because honestly, guys, I look forward to these cards so much for months that we do all the research, we watch the fights, and then it's like it's over. So, any final thoughts on this card, Marcel? Because I thought it was a fantastic card. What do you think?
I think if you look before the card, you're like really low on name value, in my opinion, And if you see the card pan out, I think it was an amazing card. I mean, the last 3 fights could be all 3 fights of the night, in my opinion. Some real good finishes, beautiful finishes with Tyson Nam, with Josh Quinlan. Some real good fights on as well. Mirzakanov with the finish, Cachoeira with the finish. So Mershaw, not forgetting him. So it was some really good fights on the card.
Sorry?
Yeah, Benitez. I don't think there was a bad fight on the card at all. Yeah, maybe 2.
Nunez and Calvillo was a bad fight. And that's probably it, right? Like the rest of the fight.
That was it was actually a good thing for the UFC. They put that down. It was first on the main card, but they changed it with Cachoeira against Lipski.
Right.
So overall good card, man. I really liked it.
All right, cool. So basically what's going on is like we're hit the hour mark, but I want to quickly recap the other cards. We'll go through them quickly, and then we're going to start the next podcast in like a few minutes here for UFC 278. Let's just go through Contender Series really fast, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the fights and just your quick thoughts. So Karolina Wojcik, she wins her fight. Boring ass fight. Dana White was not interested, obviously. I had no interest in signing her either, personally, Marcel. So I think they made the right call passing on her. Clayton Carpenter, that was a great fight. Man, the Edgar Charez guy looked pretty good in the first round. He looked legit, and then he gassed out. But he looked good, too. I think they'll bring him back on short notice eventually. Clayton Carpenter gets a contract, good decision. Eric Silva gets a contract. We both called that, Marcel, to a T. The ground game would be too much. Obviously, get the finish. 100%.
Dana was crying about that.
Yeah, you're saying the guy was too small. I mean, what's too small about him? I think they're the same size. They didn't look. Maybe in the cage it looked different, but like on paper they're like the same size.
Yeah.
Jamal Post gets the contract. I wouldn't have given him a contract. I think they almost did it because he had that like basically sob story at the end. Like, I have sympathy too for these guys. Like the guy was homeless apparently. Like he's had some family issues. He's not going to make much money in the UFC 12-12. But this fight was not that good, Marcel. Honestly, I don't think I would have signed him. And then Bo Nickel got passed on, but he's coming back later this year. There has to have been under the table agreement because obviously he should have been signed. He's phenomenal. He's going to be like he might be a world champion in like a year or two. He's very good, obviously. Any quick thoughts on this card?
Overall, a fun card, on a Tuesday night. Always fun to watch these fights. I think there was one really bad fight. That was the girls' fight, the first one. Didn't like that one at all.
That was so boring.
No disrespect to Pokes. I really respect the way he went to here and he overcome stuff. But based on that fight, I wouldn't have given him a contract, So I fully agree with you, actually. I think Bo Nickel should have got a contract. I mean, you just have a fight booked now with Mike Jackson against Pete Rodriguez. I mean, why you can't get Bo Nickel?
No way. They booked that fight?
Yeah. October 15th.
Oh, my God. What a bad fight. No offense. Well, I mean, Mike Jackson did win his last fight, but it wasn't impressive. One by eye poke, and Pete Rodriguez, man, got smoked by Della Mandolina, but still.
Yeah. That's at least right. That's it's a very good prospect.
All right. This is funny too, by the way. Pants saying no research works that I made, and 100% research on aspirin or kale. Dude, it was 5 seconds to be fair. But it was like me with
aspirin as well, dude.
Zach Pauga and Muhammad Usman. I watched the show. I was convinced the guy was the better fighter. He was looking great, and it gets blasted. So it's MMA, Marcel. 4-ounce gloves, you never know. All right, quickly.
It's 1 a.m. over here, but it fucking smells like barbecue over here, and I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. All right, let's go through Bellator 284 really quick. I'm not going to go through the whole card, just a couple of fights. Goitian Mauchi knocks out Neven Gracie. Marcel, the brutal uppercut.
Yeah.
Third division, he's in Bellator. Featherweight, lightweight, now welterweight. He started in Bellator in 2013. He was part of the Bjorn Revenue days with the old tournaments. The guy's fantastic. I really like this guy, Marcel. He's somehow only 29. He's been fighting since 2010, so he's been fighting since he was 17. I like this kid a lot, Marcel. I really like him, and this was a great win for him. So anything really quickly you want to talk about this one?
Actually, a huge win. I expected Neven Gracie to win, not going to lie. I thought it would be very evenly matched pretty much, and Goiti knocked him out, man. It was a beautiful knockout. And finally, a main event in Bellator that delivered again. So, yeah.
Yep. And then the co-main event was eye poke. Alima McFarlane barely won her fight. She's at the end of her career. I mean, she might have one fight left. I don't think if she had lost, she said she would have retired. So she's not doing very well. The Gokhan Sarakin guy, I don't think he should have won, Marcel, honestly, against Santola. Bad decision. And then Aaron Jeffrey, my guy, Marcel, also off the bat first. I'm really happy
to see both, I think, right?
We both picked him. Yeah, I think we did. I was really happy to see Aaron get that win. Aaron Jeffrey should also be in the UFC, in my opinion. I really think he could be in the UFC. Got a minute. Let's just quickly go through this. I just want to get this comment though. I'm with Marcus. Like, here's the thing. Like, the guy's fighting now. Yeah, he's the CFFC champ on paper. I get it, but I watched the last fight. The guy was getting complete out wrestle on the ground for 3.5 rounds and then pull off a triangle choke. I don't see him winning this fight. I mean, maybe he can threaten with submissions, but I don't know.
The UFC would know what they're doing, man.
They do. How good is Chandler to be able to beat the monster of Yamauchi? Chandler's great, but Yamauchi's also great. All right, really quickly, we're going to go through PFL. This is going to be a fast one, too. I only caught the main card, Marcel, so I have no idea what happened really with some of the prelims, although I know there was a couple more upsets, as there usually is on PFL cards. They're not the easiest to pick. All right, so PFL, start with here. Rory McDonald gets knocked out brutally by Delano Taylor, short notice replacement. Delano's going to the $1 million final. Never would have said that a couple months ago. That's crazy. And Rory retired. Rory had a great career, one of the best Canadian fighters of all time. I was surprised he lost this fight, though, to be honest with you. Any really quick thoughts on this one?
I mean, obviously, I want Delano Taylor to win the tournament. Look what his nickname is. The Postman.
I know, it's awesome. See that thing PFL posted? Like, the Postman, like, always wins twice or something like that? Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it was, I mean, huge. I'd say it's a huge upset. You know?
I think so, too.
Yeah. Great win for Delano Taylor. And, that's probably what PFL didn't expect, that they wanted Rory McDonald in the final, obviously,
Yep.
But now getting Delano Taylor gets a huge opportunity to get $1 million.
He's going to fight Sadibousi, who defeated Carlos Liel, and I'm surprised by that one too. I mean, he has done better than I thought, but Liel I thought was really good, and he won 29-27, Marcel. So, the guy is pretty good. Who would you favor in the final? Who would you favor?
Delano Taylor, man.
Wow, really? That's crazy. A guy who's a replacement might actually win $1 million. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one to call. It's 5 rounds too. Like, it's an interesting fight. I need to think about it more. The other one is Ante Delia. He knocked out Renan Ferreira, and Matthias Scheffel. A guy who's a replacement knocks out Juan Adams, another replacement. He's going to the finals too. So the final for the heavyweights will be Delia and Scheffel. Delia will be favored for sure in that fight, but Scheffel could win. Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, man, I remember Scheffel fighting Mirzakhanov. We actually talked about it earlier on this podcast, and now he's fighting for $1 million. Actually crazy, but Delia should be a huge favorite in that fight, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. And then just quickly in the prelims, Ronnie Marks lost again. That might be it for his career. Marcel potentially has not looked good. Actually, he won his last couple of fights, so maybe I spoke too soon there, but just not a good. Maybe his PFL career might be over, I should say. Nick Stanton also, that's the guy who beat Darren Stewart last month in Cage Warriors, and he got dominated in his fight. So I'm just kind of surprising there. But hey, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
I want to make a corny joke. I want to say, Ronnie Marks, they love him so much in Brazil, they call him Honey Marks there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Rory did go from the dog to the favorite. That's true. Yeah, he shouldn't. I mean, I thought he'd win this fight, to be honest with you, especially with the short notice to the other guy, but hate the Scott Coker had Rory McDonald go up a weight class, is what Marcus is saying, when he had a marketable 170 champ fight Geiger. His career went down from there. I agree, Marcus, but his career went down after he fought Robbie Lawler the second time. I mean, that fight was just brutal.
Do you think Rory McDonald is the second best MMA fighter of Canada?
Yes. I thought about it a lot yesterday, and I do. Because, you could say Carlos Newton, who was a champion, but, Rory, I think, had the better overall career, even though he didn't win the belt. And then there's a few other ones, but I think those are the top two. All right, that's it for this podcast. That was awesome, Marcel. I had a lot of fun, guys. It's good to be back here on Monday evenings where we got more people in the chat too. So glad to be here, guys. Marcel, we're gonna just wrap this up and then we'll start the next podcast in a few minutes. So guys, I'll tweet that out. We're gonna preview UFC 278 and the other cards this week. Quickly plug your stuff, Marcel, really fast. Let's get out of here.
You can find me on Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to see my articles, Eurosport.nl, mixed martial arts section. Twitter
at MMAOB. Follow me there, guys. Podcast MMAOB.com. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, all those places you can find your show. Where else? MiamiNews.com for the latest news. Bookies.com. Got my best bets coming out tomorrow, so it should be good. And then, that should be awesome. All right, we're going to start the next podcast, guys. Stay tuned for UFC 278 preview. Be back in